Greetings!
Hello!
Hello.
Ayo.
Welcome, everybody, to the next episode of Gates and Guardians The Impossible Path, Episode 6. Alright, running a little bit behind because I had like a debate earlier, so go ahead and somebody give me the recap while I finish some doing stuff on the side here.
I just took a bite of my burger.
Of course.
Unfortunate timing. Let him chew, guys. Let him chew. Okay.
Okay. After we freed this airship, we had to take it to this dock here, where we're supposed to find the supplies to take out the engine. We somehow made it without crashing, despite our limited knowledge. And by the time here, we finished looking over the loot. And just most of the stuff I didn't really care for, but this wing, it reminds me of Kuhn. Darien and I got into a little argument, and I made an oath. Shall I die, I'll give up the wing. Yeah. Anyways, on the dock there were these strange people, creatures, not quite sure what they were. But my silver-tongued brother was able to placate them enough to let us get the tools we needed, or bring them here. Gramr nearly challenged their leader for some odd reason to a duel, which he backed out of after he realized we got the tools we needed. Now we are currently taking apart taking the engine out so we can head back.
Alright, inspiration for you. Gather your party around the helm. It is time
Sure.
to venture forth. Alright. Cackling energy begins to surround you as slowly the energies of the impossible apprentice grip at each of you and the now removed engine part. Slowly, but surely, the energy finds hold and you find yourselves transported elsewhere.
Really thought we were going to have an airship.
Nope.
Pain.
I mean, we know where another one might be.
We do.
This is true. Now, just for theoretical sake, you would happen to remember where that was, do you?
Actually, yeah.
Shit, I don't.
I could show you on a map. I
Near the
cannot
Free
tell you
City.
the place right this second, but I can show you on a map.
Somewhere near the Free Cities. We don't
Yeah,
know
it was
exactly
it
where.
was headed towards the 3 cities. It was headed south.
Very tight.
But it was considered lost.
I'm gonna finish this burger.
Oh.
Oh.
Here we go again.
Does it look different?
Greener, maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe
a
it's
little
getting
greener.
sick.
But that's impossible.
That is not the music I wanted. The fuck? Hold on.
Also, quite a few bones here.
They were always in there.
I didn't see him last time.
Oh.
Probably a little distracted by the big fuck off angel.
Probably. 100% probably.
All right, and so the energy ceases its crackling and shifting, and you appear once more at the confines of the angelic chorus. You can see that the impossible apprentice is in the center of the room, finishing channeling of the spell and dissolving the energy. Upon your arrival, he will immediately begin. Yes, good. Competence. Good. Success. It'll lift up its hand, and the 1,200 pounds of the engine will float seamlessly off the ground. The apprentice will slowly move the engine block into the center of the sanctum of the angelic chorus, and it will begin to disassemble itself. Slowly he moves his fingers while staring straight up. His purpose unknown, unresponsive.
Mm-hmm.
What do you guys do? He seems to have forgotten you're there.
Is he working? Or
He is.
right?
He's doing it right now.
Okay.
I would just watch.
Yeah.
All right.
What do you think our next task is going to be?
Do we just stand here now?
I don't really know.
All right. As the three of you speak, you will suddenly see the apprentice's head tilt slightly, and then will turn to look, and through the veneer of his madness, there will be a shine of recognition. You are here. Oh, yes. Good. Direction. Purpose. Anew. Remade. Good. You will see that the work freezes in place, all the pieces floating, suspended, as much as this individual can. He will turn his attentions towards you. You have done well. Competence proven. Reliability more than expected. Parameters updated. Yes, more tasks must be done. My colleagues must be aided. You will see that his scales shift and change, the violet energies coursing through him still. Rest, recover, restore. Facilities open to you.
Right.
Thank you. Kaito will
Thanks.
bow.
Paxil will give a little nod of recognition and thanks, and
The creature will then say, social interaction complete. And we'll start to look at the engine block again and work.
Does anyone know what he means by facilities open to us, or whatever he said?
probably the place where we rested last time.
I would assume the tower.
Yes.
I don't know.
Can I
Oh.
color check him? Because he's
I'm-
starting to speak a bit different from last time.
What do you mean different?
Well,
A little bit more coherent, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I don't know, it just sounds a bit more robotic to me, but Kaito wouldn't know that word.
Artificial?
Unnatural.
I see. Sure, you can incite him. Stop fucking typing in other languages. It takes up so much of the screen.
Well, they've been there.
Blame
They've been
Anfa.
there.
Kaito doesn't know.
I would kind of want to check.
You
on
sense
the
that
whole
this
tech
individual
thing.
is unstable.
Got it.
I'm glad to know your powers of observation are existent.
I'd like to know whether or not whenever he was talking about allies needing defeated / rest or
Aided?
aided, if he was talking about us or someone else.
I think he might have meant the other apprentices. Apprentices? Apprentice.
Sounds
He's
cool.
busy right now. Look at
Yeah,
that
let's-
giant floating engine.
Yeah, we'll have time to
Player
ask
thoughts
questions.
player thoughts are same. Paxil wouldn't know though.
I have plenty of questions to ask. More so clarifications and requests for aid, but nevertheless, we have been granted permission to use the facilities here. I suggest we make use of them as best we can.
You will see the creature's head start to tilt, and then will look back, interrupted from its work again. Still here. Facility. Oh! Access needed. He will open his hand, and lightning will shoot out and strike all of you.
That's my deal.
And you will see that it does not cause you any harm, but rather, across each of your left or right wrists, your choice, will be a silver bangle with the mark of a saurian face. Facility will not harm you now. Good. Yes, competent. Rest, recover, restore. Soon, more tasks.
Much appreciated.
All right.
Very good.
Yes, sir.
Zippity doo dah.
Grandma, you coming?
Sorry. I was really freaked out.
Oh, sorry. Oh, sorry, Jane. Sorry.
Bro.
Ooh.
I'm just imagining you guys doing that awkward stepping to the side bit,
Uh-huh.
where you just step to the same
Okay.
side.
So when you get to this point, as you step up to here, you can see that this door starts to glow. And upon it, you can see several different facility markers, as the entirety of the Wayward Tower is now open to you.
Excellent.
You guys want to go exterminate 97% of the fucking, or 93% of the population, guys?
Was it
Not yet.
93? Was it 93?
It was
I'm
93.
gonna go.
Yes, 93.
No.
That joke's in bad taste.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
that
go
was
no.
that was me, the player.
I feel
You heard
like
him.
The proper answer to this is no.
Oh.
Anyway, so there are a number of things that you can do in the facility. Let's see here. What do I actually have in this place? Let's see here.
Bro, please tell me there's an oratory.
No, there is.
Yes. Every spell is going to do lightning damage.
Let's go play with everything else that this tower has to offer. Because I feel like we're realizing every time we have a chance for social interaction just how socially awkward all of us are.
What are you talking about? Grammar's great with people.
No.
Yeah, but immediately when we have any time to talk, to
Nuh-uh.
we're just quiet. We're just like, eh.
Gramr, I think the only time that I saw you interact with somebody, you got challenged to a duel and backed out of it.
That is the correct response in that situation.
I agree.
And Paxil was literally trying to remind you that
All right.
showing that coin causes fights.
All right, here we go. You've got six facilities available in the Wayward Tower. You have the armory, the oratory, the simulation grounds, the archives, the diviner's chamber, or diviner's chamber, and the teleportation nexus, where you currently are. I will put those in notes for you. The armory is where you can have weapons, armor, things of that nature crafted and constructed for you. It is also a storage place for any gear that you might find. The oratory is a place where spells can be constructed and studied and learned. The simulation grounds is an area in which you can retrain more quickly, and also, if you are able to gain sufficient data on an enemy, you can go through a simulation, which essentially allows me to show you the first 3 rounds of combat that enemy would do. It's like a super martial check, kind of, like to prepare you guys for a fight.
Nice.
The archives is an area that you can go to research various facets of the game space and lore as well. There's lots of things to discover there. The diviner's chamber is a place where you can go and have advanced divination magics used, such as clairvoyance, scrying, divination, the spell itself, and things like that. And the teleportation nexus is, well, it takes you places.
Mm-hmm. Once Boss Man's done fixing it.
I would like to go to the lore chamber.
I will be in the oratory.
Well, hold on. There is an asterisk.
Lovely.
So, each use of these facilities puts a strain on the impossible apprentice, causing more and more of his power to be used. The more and more power that the apprentice uses, the more susceptible he is to his madness. Do you remember the thing I discussed with you guys at the very beginning?
Mm-hmm.
So, for chat's sake, there are 2 ways that this can go. If you wish to save the impossible apprentice from his own madness, and quotations, attempt the good ending, you will have to stave off his madness for as long as possible. Or, you can choose to utilize as many of the facilities and powers as possible in order to complete your own desires. So, keep in mind that any use of these facilities will lower his resistance to his madness. Understand that it is intended for you to use some of them, but the judicious use and a little bit of luck is what matters, because obviously you have to use the teleportation nexus in order to go to your missions.
Mm-hmm.
Not if we had a ship.
I would like to amend my
No
statements that
general
all...
area of where that other ship disappeared.
I was kidding. We're just going to have to teleport. It's a lot faster.
And
Yes,
also,
Mike.
you can't fly the airship.
Yeah, that was a stroke of luck that we were okay with that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
We'll
So-
be fine.
Arcadum, is there a place that I can go to research his madness?
Mm-hmm. The
Okay.
archive.
That would be best found in the archives and lore area.
I'm not a psychologist or versed in healing whatsoever, but I'm concerned for this creature.
Now, if we use the archive, will it affect his madness?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Using these facilities in any way.
Okay.
But it is intended for you to use some of them.
Yep.
But it's also a necessary
Well,
risk to.
Here's the
help
part where
find
if we're
it
successful, we
updates.
might find out how often we can use this stuff before we drain him completely. So
I think having
the arc.
Or we go super hardcore mode and never use them. Challenge ourselves.
I think one visit to the archive won't kill us.
I don't have to challenge
And we
myself. I find all
We're
of
going
you challenging enough already.
Yeah, we also are going to have to use the teleportation nexus.
Yeah.
At
I think
least
one
once.
use of the archive to at least try to research him and find out what we can do to help him.
Yeah,
That's
the
my plan.
madness.
Or find something that can help him. Or someone.
Here's
We need
devil's
to know
advocate
more
here.
about the madness.
What
before
if
we do
helping him
anything.
is actually a bad thing? Like, trying to save him, he gets eviler.
I
Which-
That's
feel
something to
like
research.
That's a fair point. You don't actually know anything about this guy.
Yeah, I think Archive would be our best option to find out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That was my thoughts.
So, Archive?
Yep.
Agreed.
Archives.
Okay.
Archives it is.
Yeah.
All right.
Better
I'll
to
go
know
ahead and
thy
Split up,
enemy.
or
I was about to go stupid in the oratory. I'm so glad you said that it would make him crazier.
I was.
I mean, you still can. Just,
I know I can.
Please don't make our employer evil. Or
I am
Well,
endeavoring
we might find
to
out.
make
We
the-
might find out sending him into madness is actually good for us.
No, I think his madness is what makes him want to end the experiment.
We're not sure of that.
well, you're not sure of anything. So,
Exactly.
archive time.
Yep.
Unfortunately, I don't have a map for that yet. So, it is what it is.
we chose
We expected a bunch
place
of
we
idiots
can't
to want to
go.
read the book.
No, it's just, they're just not done yet. It's fine.
We have one guy that likes to read. The rest of us are a bunch of morons with sticks.
But as you head into the archives, what you see before you are stacks upon stacks of tomes and scrolls, some of which are actively floating in the air from the from the central, almost I'd call it a wind sphere that is flowing and swirling, actually producing quite a comfortable temperature. Out of character, it's air conditioning. But this is causing a lot of the scrolls and tomes to move and shift and suspend themselves in the air. There are reading tables, implements, scribes kits, things like that. So you can nerd out to your heart's content. So, to make this clean, this facility is sufficiently advanced that anyone can research, even if they are not trained. However, the higher your modifier, the better roll you can ultimately make. So my suggestion is you take the people that actually have the highest investigation rolls, and you aid them with your use of time, so that you have the highest chances as possible to discover the subject matter that you want. So let's talk subject matter. What is it that you actually want to know? The more specific you are, the better, but the longer it will take to discover it.
Mhm. I don't want to say just madness in general because I feel like that would be really broad.
I want to try and find any information about the apprentice/apprentices.
Who
as
are
well
the
as
apprentices?
stranger. Yeah.
Aren't they the apprentices? We know that they're apprentices of Tyr, right? Because that chorus told us that it thought Tyr died, right?
I think you understand the
The
stranger.
stranger.
The stranger.
stranger.
Stranger
So
hasn't
find out who
been
the stranger is.
seen for
Yeah, so
Long
present
time.
them to me as questions.
Yeah.
Hold on. Let's calculate the question because obviously it's of importance. So if we're going to ask this question, it probably should be along the lines of like multiple options added into one question. So who are Tyr? Who is the stranger, and what are his apprentices' end goals?
I mean, we know
Something
that,
that's well. So
we know
we
our
know-
apprentice's end goal is to
Exactly.
to know the purposes of the apprentices.
each individual purpose probably could help us better understand the apprentices themselves.
I thought he told us that he told us
Exactly.
their purposes, didn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Like our apprentice himself told us what his purpose was, as well as his colleagues. He referred to them
But he
as.
also doesn't necessarily remember. He's
I would
kind of
say-
out of it.
Maybe. I'm gonna.
I would say go to the notes. I don't think he told us about his. He told us of his colleagues. He told us that they had their own missions, but he didn't tell us what they were.
I think it is a fair assessment that he's probably not a reliable source of
Yeah.
We're looking for a reliable
information.
source.
Mm.
We're looking
At
for
least to some
reference
degree.
materials.
I think having a healthy skepticism is a completely in character thing.
Yeah.
He is, in fact, wackadoodle.
Yeah, we are looking for solid first-person references.
Okay. So then the question would be, who is the stranger, and what
I
is the
think you're
purpose of
writing
his
an essay
apprentices?
today.
Yeah.
I like that question.
Yeah,
Questions?
it's a broad stroke, but on multiple targets to give us a decent amount of information on each one. And then if anything comes into question, we can try to narrow our scope, or if it answers what we need, then we can put our focus somewhere else.
Okay. Yeah. Makes sense.
When researching, always start wide and then narrow in. Don't just narrow immediately. You may miss something in the scope.
So then,
Who's asking the question? Darien, I assume?
yeah,
The
who's
smart
going
guy?
to be doing the actual research?
We can do
Darien.
it too, right?
Yeah,
Who has the
Darien
highest investigation?
Darien.
Right,
I have
but
a
like
+5.
besides Darien, because I have a +4 right now.
Yeah, I'm not the guy.
I'm a
I have
0.
a +2.
I'm at a
Okay.
0 even on my best day. I'm
Okay,
actually
so
at
me and
-1.
Darien have the highest investigation.
Okay.
Is this something that I can add my inspiration to?
No, it takes place over too much time.
Okay. Okay.
And we can't do spells from the archives, right?
What'd you say, Nob?
We can't learn spells from the archives, right? That's the oratory.
That's the oratory, yeah.
Yeah. So have to wait.
Darien,
For that.
Darien's still trying to get some spells out of this deal.
Yeah, I was going to get borrowed knowledge, you know.
He said,
Well, while we're here,
"Who is the
Gramr, you
stranger?"
might be able
And
to
it's
find some recipes.
Who
Who
is
is
the stranger?
Yep.
And... Or just who is the stranger?
That's one of them. I think we do one more, right?
I
Okay.
think
Two votes.
I can.
And what
Yeah,
are the
I
purposes
wanted
of the
to.
apprentices?
I was gonna say I wanted to look more into, because obviously it's whatever is affecting this guy must be that strange power going over him, the color.
The color.
So Anfa would want to research into that, because if you can maybe find a way to cure that, that might be what's causing his.
Yeah, I'm not saying we don't ask multiple questions. I'm just saying that we ask this one question first to get information about the apprentices.
Oh, and then we see where that springboards us.
We're trying to
Exactly.
trying
Okay.
to figure out the questions
broad
we need
strokes,
to ask.
broad strokes, and narrow in.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
That's the wrong language.
What language is that?
Didn't you read it?
Wicked.
I think we're asking who is the stranger and the apprentices and his apprentices.
Who is the stranger and his apprentices?
Yeah.
Is that one question or is it two?
It doesn't matter. This isn't a monkey paw, guys.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just playing as it is.
Yeah. All right, here we go. Okay, give me those rolls.
So we're getting an advantage.
Mm-hmm. Kaiser's helping Anfa.
I thought you could only help because if you have proficiency in the skill.
Yeah.
And Paxil will help Darien.
Well, that's the case. I can just help everybody.
Well,
Double threes is wild.
If I don't need proficiency in the skill, then I can just help everybody.
Well, they're already got advantage, so.
Yeah, there's nothing
Then-
more we can do. We're chilling, Gene.
We want to inspire this.
I could have you reroll. You do have a higher bonus. You could get better than me, Nob.
If we're researching the same question, it's fine, I think.
Okay.
yeah, I think we should save it for further questions, especially if
Yeah.
Or-
This one's just a broad stroke, just
Jokey.
general knowledge.
Okay. Here we go.
Hey, what's your your investigation, Gene?
0.
0. Okay, well, how about since there's 3 of us with decent investigation? I call myself decent, +2.
I would
That's
not
great
call
for
that
someone
decent.
with an 8 intelligence. How
Plus
about
2 is more than
how
0.
about we get 3 rolls up in here and you guys can help Darien and me?
Yeah. I mean, if I can help everybody, why wouldn't everybody but me do the investigation check? At advantage.
Well, I guess I
I think
would
it-
like to clarify. When using the archives, does it put the strain on him per question asked or like per search? Per searching person.
Using it, period.
So we need to get what we need from
This
here
one trip,
on the
yeah.
first go.
Yeah.
Essentially, it's you enter the archive and then you exit the archive. Okay, that's one use.
I see.
Yeah.
Got it.
So get what we need while we're here. Because we
Research
don't want to
everything
have
and
to
never
come
come
back
back.
here.
Okay.
Shall I
But
continue?
yeah, so you
Yep.
three,
Okay.
you 3 help, and we 3 will roll. Sound good?
Yep. Waiting on you to roll, Paxil.
Huh? Oh,
Wait.
I figured I was already. I was helping Darien that first round, so.
Oh,
I
okay,
figured
fair
that
enough.
I figured that was already.
Yep, fair
done
enough,
and
fair
over
enough.
with.
So yes, continue, Arcadum.
Okay. Let's see. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Okay, to your question of who is the stranger and his apprentices, going to your notes. You have discovered this. Who is the stranger and his apprentices? The stranger is one of the common aliases of the Maltosian wizard Tyr. His apprentices are separated into a naming epithet of his greatest discoveries: impossible, sacred, and forbidden. The names of the apprentices are amongst the first things given to Tyr in exchange for their servitude, but sometimes this effect is resisted or bypassed.
I think now we should look deeper into the impossible apprentice.
Yeah.
Like now we have like an inch deep, maybe a centimeter deep understanding of the stranger. I think we should look into what the deal with the impossible apprentice is. I don't know how to word that into a question, but yeah.
What is the purpose of the impossible apprentice? Like, what's their task? Their reason for existing? What do they perform? What is their importance to the grand scheme of things?
What purpose do they serve?
Yes. What purpose do the impossible apprentice serve?
Good question.
I will type it out. What purpose does the impossible apprentice serve? Question mark.
Investigation checks, please.
Understood.
Bless you.
Little off your game today, Darien.
Because he doesn't actually want to be here. He wants to be learning spells.
He wants to go to the oratory.
Would it help if I played some chill lo-fi beats to study and relax to?
Maybe.
Okay. Here is your answer to that question. What purpose does the impossible apprentice serve? The impossible apprentice seeks to challenge the preconceptions of what is possible, striving to understand what could be done. Such apprentices focus upon refining this lesson of Tyr to a point of understanding so that they can see the world for what it really is and challenge its design directly.
Well, that seems rather
Vague.
obtuse.
Interesting.
It's a direct answer. It just doesn't tell us what we need to know about our guy.
Mm,
It also implies there's multiple impossible apprentices.
that's right. So these lessons of Tyr seem to be some sort of like big insight into how our world functions? Is that what I'm gathering?
Seems like it.
Mhm.
I mean, interesting. Not, certain on what we can do with that. Suppose it provides more answers and more questions and answers, I mean.
Well, we are here to answer said questions.
I don't know if I'm just not smart enough to think of the right question to ask, but part of me feels like we're looking in the wrong chamber. I think maybe the diviner's chamber might be able to, if we just directly look into the apprentice with the diviner's chamber, we might have a direct sense of what is happening to him. That, or we find the right question to ask.
Or you could catch a case of madness.
I do not know.
Stare into the void might stare back.
Let's try to find out what exactly is afflicting our impossible apprentice.
Sure. Yeah, I can look into that. Hey,
Do any of us know what kind of madness he might have? Because madness feels
oh,
very broad.
each
Would
question.
I know what kind
Each-
of madness he might have, considering
Guys.
I am made of madness?
Guys, madness count as 2.
What?
In the notes, I think just because we're using it means each time we use the facility, it increases.
I
We
thought it
also
was
don't know
once
what it
in
was
once out.
before. We don't know what it was before, so we can't know for sure.
Mhm.
Let's just pretend like we only have one more question to ask.
Yeah. So, do we want then to ask the what is causing his affliction,
Nope.
or
Nope.
Hey,
Fuck,
Arcadum.
fuck all that. Don't even know why.
About the madness that is afflicting. Would the madness, the laughing mad creature, know anything about the madness that may be afflicting him?
I can't answer that because you don't know that.
Okay. I don't think we need to know
Dang it.
why he's mad.
You're asking me if an entity that you are associated with knows something. There's no way for you to know that.
Yeah.
No, I'm asking if I, as a creature of the laughing mad, would know anything about what might be causing.
That is not what you
madness.
asked me, but in either case, the answer is no.
Yeah, let's focus on how to alleviate, get rid of it.
Yeah, we don't need to know what it is or where it comes from or why. We just need to know how to cure him.
Okay.
Well, that would be finding out what the root of it is.
right? Like it's like a diseased tree. You can't just cut all the limbs down. You need to cut down the limbs that are infected, and you won't know that unless you figure out where the infection's coming from.
You
I
need
mean-
to cure it at its root.
Yeah.
Didn't you describe, Arcadum, that whenever we were in the room, that right before he started acting weirder, that color on him flared up?
Yep.
Okay, so we can deduce or assume, or whatever word you want to change it out for, that the color is the reason that he's acting weird.
We don't know what that is.
Well,
All we've
yeah.
been given is that these
Mad,
colors are
maybe-
like the basic building blocks of the world, our existence.
Okay, so if it's the basic building blocks of our world, and it's purple, we could ask the question of what in our basic building blocks reveals itself to be the color purple when
I feel like that's going to lead to too many
Possessing.
questions. We need to get as close to an answer as possible
Yeah.
in one more question. Like,
Yeah.
why is this
Yeah.
color making him mad?
What was that, Darien?
What about cures to madness, and then we can.
Cures to madness,
Pluck and
that's
choose.
very broad.
That's very
Yes.
broad.
But then you would also have many options.
So we just start
Well, that's
tossing at
also
him
true.
until
It's the most direct route.
we just start tossing cures at him, hoping that none of them make it worse.
Well, I mean, I guess
Well,
we
you
could
can-
try to take it like.
Well, at that point, the problem becomes not that we have the cure, we have options. It's more so his willingness to try them. That's where the real difficulty comes in. So, shrugs.
Why don't we ask what the correlation between that color is and madness?
That could work.
We simply just don't know enough right now.
I actually like that question because at least it would still use madness and that color and take it probably from, let's say, 1,000 and knock it down by quite a bit, I would assume. Unless the color purple is just real common in madness, that would suck.
I could also always try to,
You're going to suggest a weird plan.
slip back into the dream.
Oh, my bad. That was a dumb plan.
Yeah,
Not here, please.
well...
Dream?
Not here, please.
Remember the last time?
How many times do I have to teach you this lesson, old man?
What's this about a dream?
Oh, it's a new thing I've been introduced to. Basically, when we fall asleep, we actually go to this weird place that all spirits go to wait before they get sent to their respective resting places with their gods or whatever, something like that. Did I get that right, Darien?
I rather not whispering into those subtle things.
I
Yeah.
really don't want to go back to the dream.
Oh, as a quick aside,
Mhm.
Paxil, from your Fey ancestry, you would know a little bit more about the dream. And the description that you just heard is not quite right.
Those are not
Oh?
my dreams.
Specifically, as what Paxil would know, is that the dream is not the actual resting place for people. It is a transient state of existence. It is also known as the astral sea. It is the space in between spaces.
I thought that's what Anfa said.
Okay.
Anfa put it in a bit of a confusing way because she doesn't fully understand it as a person from Calcutta who would have possibly learned about it, or someone who has more knowledge of it. Yeah, so she's
Plus,
like,
Paxil's been there and she does not want to go back.
yeah, but might be concerning for Paxil that Alpha just said I could go back into the dream.
No.
Wait,
As in, I've been there before.
yeah, Paxil's just gonna be like, wait, excuse me, you want to go back?
Well, I mean, it was rather a harrowing experience. I had some entity almost rip my own belief and confidence out of me.
I'm not entirely sure you're going to the dream.
No.
I
It was
can
nightmarish.
Everything
apparently.
is sounding a bit odd.
I remember the dream. It sucked.
I
I
mean,
remember floating around in the dream, and I can't say that I encountered anything more harrowing than my party was dealing with at the time.
Let's just pause on that because one, I can't think of a single productive thing that could happen from coming to the dream. So I don't think that's a good plan. Like I don't know what you would do in there that you think you couldn't achieve out here.
I really like that purple madness question.
Yeah. What is the correlation between the color afflicting our apprentice and madness?
Go ahead,
Is a really good question, I think.
Go ahead and type it out, and then I'll.
yeah, you
act
type
on
it up, Gene. That's your question, and we'll help you find it. AKA, we'll roll while you help us.
Sorry, I'm.
You asked.
Gotta give me a minute to put spell.
I gotta remember how
I'm
to spell.
really just surprised you can read.
That's what comes hard. That's why spelling is hard.
Hold on. How do I read? I keep forgetting how to do
Yes,
this.
I'm not entirely sure that you're going to the dream when you go wherever you go.
My dreams suck.
All right, so if I misspelled some of this goodness,
I have to say,
just remember that I'm from Alabama and I did my best.
Okay. Nobb doesn't even get that. Like this.
I can guess.
What is Alabama? Is it the bad? Is it like? I don't even know any Norwegian cities.
It's where my first chemistry lesson happened on a creek, and I learned how to make alcohol.
Is it like Greenland? I don't know.
Moving on.
Denmark.
What a slam to Denmark. Oh.
Yeah.
Why he does that, I'm gonna take a piss.
I don't know.
Well, I guess you should specify the apprentice in the Wayward Tower.
Well, he said hour. I don't think we have more than one.
Yeah, but there's a lot of information here.
Well, we're the ones researching it. We all understand what hour means. we're not going to mistake our for someone else's. We're the ones researching it.
It's not a monkey's paw, as I've said
Yeah.
already.
Yeah, there's no trick here. We ask a question, he gives us the answer, but we're the one researching it. We understand the question, the assumed question that we're asking. So when we say our, we know what our means.
Alright, just wanted to be safe.
Should
You're
we
good.
roll?
We can
Yes.
specify with the impossible apprentice.
There's no point. Like I just said,
We're
we're
fine.
the ones.
Just roll.
Yeah. We understand what our means. We're the ones researching. There's no one else doing the job here.
This is not a monkey's paw, I was told.
Woo!
Yes.
Woo!
I think that's the second time that was stated. There we go. Good girl, guys.
Oh my god. Sorry if you're just coming through. My work group chat was so we got getting hit by that big snowstorm.
I forget that it's winter. I don't experience that.
Oh, lucky.
Normally we don't either, but it's snowing today.
I'm sure you must love the summers.
Summertime.
I miss snow.
I'm conditioned for hell, I'll say.
It's a toss-up of if we get all 4 seasons in a day or not.
Today we got fall and winter in the same day. It was nice.
That's like the same season to me.
I could have done without the snow, though.
Just got 2 seasons down here, hot and less hot.
I mean, we got a little bit of spring in here too today. At least Muskogee did.
Did I capitalize madness? I didn't even fucking mean to do that. I should have capitalized color.
It's appropriate. The madness being capitalized is appropriate. It's fine.
Did Chorus tell us about the colors? I feel like somebody did. I feel like somebody was like, this is a capital C color thing.
Yes, I believe when we were talking to the angel, it informed us of the colors.
Fuck, do you think that was making his madness worse too?
Probably.
Shitters.
He was very occupied holding it in place, basically.
It seemed very strenuous for him.
He did also get a bit more unhinged afterward.
Yeah.
Damn.
I get unhinged after I talk to you too.
There might be like a cooldown where if we wait long enough, the madness might kind of reset to a more stable area. So maybe, or there might be a way for us to kind of help him stabilize his mind in the future. But for right now, I think, yeah.
Invite him to a tea party.
I'm gonna look around this map for a picture of Arcadum bussing.
I don't think Anfa heard me take a shot at her.
I heard it. It was hilarious.
Thank you.
What is the correlation between the color afflicting our apprentice and madness? The archives do not have a medical record on the current apprentice. However, there is a lot of evidence of the color in question. Violet is one of the colors of primordial creation. Violet is known to contain the dominion of memory and oblivion, the difference between existence and true death. It is oftentimes depicted as the most powerful, but least easily controlled of the colors of creation.
Well, that answers our question right there. That's perfect.
Yeah.
Well, the power is fucking with his head.
Well, why does he have it?
I mean, if it's the most powerful, it makes sense for him to want it, especially if it's almost considered to be one of the most impossible to control.
No, he's the impossible. This seems very on theme for what he's doing.
It's also possible he was the only one who had any semblance of being able to control it.
Question, Arcadum. Does the
Considering
madness
he is an
count
apprentice.
increase?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, so it could have been from like the angel and then coming in here to the archives.
Okay.
Maybe.
Okay.
Um,
Okay. So he might think that he's controlling this shit, but it is obviously corrupting him in some kind of fucking way.
Yeah.
Long-term effects.
If only
yes.
we had somebody that could talk him out of it.
I don't know enough about him or his situation to make a logical argument to talk him out of it. And even if I could, I don't know if he'd listen.
What if we? Well, I mean, obviously, this. We know now. Did we learn about what the purpose of the Corvallis experiment was?
Yeah, it was to generate faith, right?
Right.
Mhm.
Yep. Generate faith.
Did we learn if it was to, like, harness one of these colors, or is that something that is that meta? I don't want to. I'm trying to make sure I'm clearing out my meta from my what my character knows.
Plug my ears for a little bit.
Unsure. I think unsure.
What was the
Okay.
question?
I'm just trying to remember if we've learned that the experiment of Corvallis was meant to harness the orange, or not in character. That's all.
I think the closest we got was an amber color wave.
Yeah,
Oh,
you don't
then-
you don't know.
Okay, then
any
yeah.
of that.
Let me ignore what I said then. Then I'll just say, all right. So, I mean, Corvallis was meant to gather faith, to harness it as a energy resource. What was its? Perhaps maybe if we can learn what the overall goal of the research into
Oh, you
faith
mean-
and how to harness it, we might learn more about
Gathering
maybe.
energy for what?
Yeah, for what? What was the end goal? Because if we can
Want to
learn
gather
that, we
energy
might
if you want me to use it.
use it to do what? Was it to help him harness the color, this violet?
Hmm.
I don't know.
I agree that it would be good to know why the experiment was gathering energy.
Right, but this
But
might be
I'm
something
worried
we could learn in
I'm worried it
our
might be pulling us away
tasks
from.
outside of the library, obviously.
I feel like it might be pulling us away from taking care of our apprentice. But I do
Well-
also want to know.
Well, I'm trying to figure out why he decided to take on this energy, aside from the fact that it is impossible to control. Was it to try and assist him in his part of running this experiment?
Maybe try to be more powerful.
Right, like, did he need more power in order to properly do it? Was he falling behind the other two apprentices, his allies?
Hmm.
This is going off the assumption that there is a one apprentice to each of the three titles, right?
Mhm.
Well, the archive is
I'm
unlikely
sorry,
to know
am I feeding
this.
back? I feel like I'm feeding back. Let me turn my shit down.
Well, at this point,
We could
I'm gonna try and
possibly
think of
see
a-
the order. We could possibly see if there's any order to the tasks we were given that might minimize casualties.
oh, we could do that. Yeah, like
Like,
what
see
we're
if
trying to
maybe
do.
he
hold on,
put
hold
his
on,
schedule in a book.
Guys, hang on. Remember that we are in his tower. He has a goal. Okay?
Oh no, we want to help him stop
the
the
experiment.
experiments. Yeah, but I would like to try and do it
We
in the
wish to
best
help him.
possible way. Yeah,
I just wanted to see if there might be any records from the stranger.
yeah, a
on
proper order to
his
things
schedule.
to ensure that nothing causes havoc. Just like how the fifth failsafe and contingency kind of fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I want to make sure we do
got
it in a
a
proper order that
We
ensures
have
that
a
the
leak here, intruders over there. Like, we have a
Yeah.
lot going on.
So
I feel like
I think the way to word that would be, what is the optimum way to activate the, what was it, contingencies and fail-safes
the failsafes. Yeah, the
to-
failsafes.
to achieve as minimal loss of life as possible?
Or at least just ensure that there's minimal bad interaction. Anfa gives a very obvious wink at Jean.
I have
We're looking for
heard
the
of the
strange.
I can't describe to you
Looking for
the face that he's
strangest
making,
jewel.
but I am currently making that face, and the desire to turn the camera on and let you see the look on my face is heavy. It's if I could face palm without using my hand at you.
Oh, I know the
would.
face. I think I got her face. I think I have a mental imagery. Okay. Anfa
Okay.
smiles, thinking you got the point.
Ew.
Sigh.
Well,
I'm so
Yes,
glad
I
I'm
would,
not your brother.
I would like
Jesus
to
Christ,
see
I'd
if
bore the shit out of you.
perhaps the stranger has a schedule written down.
Wow.
well, something about our apprentice. Apparently, there's multiple. I doubt he was the first to try to control this Violet. Wouldn't there be like
Right. It
we
says
said
that there's no current medical records on the current impossible apprentice.
another one must have tried this before. How did they deal with it?
We could look into that.
Have
It's
have
possible
apprentices
there's
in
a
the
reason
past
why
been
Do we
it's
corrupted
want
by the
to
Violet?
from
do we
apprentice
want?
to apprentice.
Sorry. I was going to ask if we want to maybe narrow down the question to any sort of records on other apprentices attempting to harness
This Violet.
this Violet. Yeah.
No, I don't. I think it should. I think the question should be more along the lines of, um, fuck, I had it and I lost it. It's okay. It'll come back to me. Keep going.
How did the other apprentices fight off the madness from the Violet?
Who's okay?
Did
So hold on. Who's
any of the
saying?
other apprentices
I
stave
was saying
off
who's
Violet
saying?
corruption?
Yeah,
We
who's
don't
saying
know.
that it did? But even if they did, why is that? What answers is that going to get us? I
How
would
do
say
you-
I would
'Cause if we-
say add if so how.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
how did they do it?
Yeah. So did anyone stave off the Violet Madness? And if so, how did they do it?
I like that question.
Yeah.
That's good.
Nice and clean. All the questions answered.
You should type that out.
Is it in? Where's? Okay.
I've been putting mine in the fucking Foundry chat.
Yeah.
Just put it in the sidebar, man.
I'm doing it.
Side question: is the wind in here strong enough for Kaito to fly around?
Sure.
Catch a
Alright.
current, my man.
Yeah, that's what Kaito will be doing. Why is he looking for these?
Paxil might be doing the exact same thing because she likes flying with people. It's just the
Oops.
fact that she's able to fly with someone at this point.
Spell checking the word apprentice. Cool, I spelled it correctly. There we go.
I'm so tempted.
I think we
How
need
did the
to
man-
specify.
Minor grammatical error.
How did thee
Yeah.
manage to do so?
I mean,
Oh, you're talking about any other? I thought that might be
grammatical error.
We had an important laugh. It wasn't me this time.
Gramr Gambytz was so locked in on making sure apprentice was spelled right.
One word over.
We
There's
need
a
to focus
problem.
on the apprentices. We could just focus on
So, for what are the classic?
staving off the madness in general.
I think if anybody was able to stave off the madness, is what we know. Is what we want to know.
Oh, okay. So it should say, did any?
Did any others?
Oh, are you changing the question? I was about to input it.
Oh, well, we haven't even rolled for it yet. But if you're about to input it, we're good.
Oh, that's all. I mean, you haven't rolled, so you can change if you want. If not, then please roll.
I think,
Did anyone stave off the Violet Madness?
and if so, how did they do it?
Okay.
Yeah.
So is that what we're investigating?
I think that's a better use of our time because there might not have been any other apprentices who have
I'm
staved it
thinking
off.
about putting a space on anyone just to perturb you.
Okay,
It's-
is that not how it's spelled?
I'm glad you did it, because mine says, forgot the word violent. No, I forgot the...
Oh my god.
The question is, did anyone stave off the violent madness? And if so, how did they manage to do it? Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Go ahead and delete your extra 2.
Once again, not a monkey's paw. Like, so,
Yeah,
okay.
we're just fighting the grammar now.
We just don't trust you. That's what
Okay, yeah, alright, fine.
Listen, alright, the DM's always gonna
We're
sit there
waiting
and
for
have...
misdirection, okay?
Alright, time to roll.
Yeah, roll time.
He's gonna be like, look,
Oh,
this is not a
no.
monkey's paw until we ask that question. We're gonna
Excellent.
ask like, one
Paxil.
specific question. He's gonna be like, well, I know I said it's not a monkey's paw.
I
However,
kind of want to use my inspiration on this.
Yes.
No shit.
if you want to.
Yeah.
On Darien,
I'll
he has
use
the
mine.
highest bonus.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Darien, reroll yours.
Watch me work.
I swear if you roll 12, I'm gonna kill you. Thank you.
Okay.
16.
I would have laughed if you rolled another 11.
He rolled an 11.
I said another.
You did technically roll another 11.
As in, it would have stayed at 11.
Yeah, but do we
Ah.
want to keep it at 16? Because this is a pretty important question.
I can't add to it, so it's a fucking 16.
Well, me and Gramr could add to it. But I don't trust rolling those dice here.
Maybe don't do it.
No.
I don't trust rolling
Definitely
those
not,
dice.
yeah.
That's
It
for,
would-
oh shit, we're about
it
to
would
die
add-
things, and that's, yeah.
I'm saying it would add to it, I just don't trust doing it here.
That's for, oh shit, we're about to die things, not this.
So the 16 stands.
Yes.
Yeah.
We just
Yeah.
Alright then.
Alright.
we just might not get as much as we've gotten before.
Let's see, 10, 11, 11, and 16.
Yep.
It's the first time I've rolled below 20.
How lucky of us.
The Lexi's had to end somehow.
Yeah. Listen, I'll take a triple kill.
You know, since it says since we were able to find out that it just doesn't have medical records on the current apprentice, we could just look at prior medical records for other apprentices from the past.
I think that's what we're looking to find out how did they,
If
If
any of the
they-
apprentices had violent corruption like this, like my guy's madness, then they would be on the list of the question we're asking.
So we're good. Hopefully.
We just broadened our scope from apprentices to anyone.
And a fucking squirrel managed to hold this somehow.
Let me find that squirrel.
Apparently, if you're already mad, you can't go madder. Weird.
Not true.
I mean, if I drink my own blood, I don't get madness. If you guys did, that's another story.
Why would I drink your blood?
He's not that kind of
It can
bad.
be used as a magical
He's-
catalyst.
He's not that kind of bat.
Why
For
would...
potions, it's good for potions
Oh,
as a
God, that's
magical
good.
catalyst.
I'm not a vampire.
We had a lot. Okay,
I'm
not
not
be our last party was mostly humans and a quarterling. So
I'm gonna look over here.
Yeah, like,
Go away
literally,
from you.
Liar was the only other option for a magical catalyst. And I almost made the mistake of making some pretty nice potions with my own blood, and then I realized that I can't do that for them.
You have a way of saying nice that sounds like poisonous.
Not
Correct.
poisonous. It still does the intended effect. It just also makes everyone else mad.
Almost like it's bad for you to drink it. Kind of like a poison would be.
It's side effects. It's
Keep
called the
trying to
side
kill us.
effects. I did not try to kill you. I stopped it when I realized the problem. and then promptly went to go stab Salire.
Sorry, there's a lot here, so it's taking me a bit.
Fair.
I like a dense answer.
Well, we asked about as most general questions we can.
How do we cure this fucking shit, dude? Watch me get to the end of the campaign, and Arcadum's like, yeah, you could have just asked, how do we cure him? And he would have given us the answer.
It's not impossible.
Oh my
Apparently
god,
fucking
don't.
nothing is.
Don't make it that easy.
It could have been that easy, guys. We understand what we're hunting for. It's not a monkey paw. I think that's been said.
Yeah, I know.
Yes.
I just feel like we had to, in character, make these logical jumps from what we knew to what we were trying to know.
And many, many jumps in directions, I will say that.
Well, hey, we got practice jumping to conclusions.
Yeah, like Anfa jumping to the conclusion that no one else spoke fucking Elvish.
Okay, look. Alright, I'm sorry. I just was,
Racist?
Judgmental.
judgmental.
I know you hadn't known me long, but I've done nothing to make you assume I would do anything to betray anyone's god.
Yeah, you haven't. And I'm sorry for my quick judgment.
It's okay. You're never gonna hear the end of it. You're still good. You're still my friend.
Just gonna lord it over you for the rest of my life.
It's not that long of a life. I only got a couple years left.
How'd you get that scar on the side of your head?
It's a longer story, but at the end of the day, I made a deal. It comes with a nice tattoo. And I survived. That's what matters.
I thought it was a scar. Alright.
Well,
Paxil's
yes,
gonna bap him on the nose.
It nearly got me killed. I made a deal. And here we are.
Good story.
Well, okay, so you guys have obviously seen the tattoo on my face glow. I made a deal with the Gambler Black in a situation where I almost died. And now I'm, how do you say, one of the boys?
Who's that?
You're having to deal with the dead.
I don't know who this Gambler Black is.
So he's,
He's a patron
you know,
from Calcatesh.
he likes his deals. He likes his wagers and he likes his gamble.
Just always remember the house always wins.
Okay, here's your answer to that question that you could find.
Yay.
Did anyone stave off the violent madness, and if so, how did they manage to do so? The archives speak of those that wield the colors as being consumed by them. It seems to be a common motif. It would seem that if the consumption is manifested in different ways, and those manifestations were avoidable only through careful use of the said power and eventual reduction of the exposure to it. The use of potent containers of this energy is often the most reliable way to reduce exposure, as the latent energy needs to be transferred or else it infuses the air and causes disaster. Each of the manifestations points to require a similar container dependent on the color's domains. The following are the domains of the colors as presented by this archive. Indigo is sacrifice and loss. Blue is imagination and dream. Green is life and community. Yellow is time and causation. Orange is ambition and desire. Red is wisdom and knowledge. And violet is memory and oblivion.
I don't like that answer a lot.
There's a
So,
color.
how do we get a hold of these containers for our
Well-
friendly neighborhood apprentice?
Well, hang on, because this is saying that it seems to be that from the archives, the only way that he survives this is if he gives up the violet power.
He might not be willing to do that until after the experiment is ended.
He might not be willing to do that at all.
Right, but we can go with the hope for the best, prepare for the worst scenario.
If he does not want to give up the power, we could try to get one of those containers, so that he can use it from the container, not from himself.
Yeah, that's true. He'd still have access to it.
Just in less.
Yeah. And it would also ensure that he can keep his mind. So then that way he's more fully capable of being beneficial to his master's desires.
So how
So
do
we
we
need to
get a
find the
hold of one
container.
of these containers for Violet?
Hmm.
I do love how it came back to exactly what I asked.
The manifestations are avoidable only through careful use of the send power, and then the eventual reduction of exposure to it. So he has to use it carefully, and then slowly or eventually stop use or reduce exposure to it.
Basically, expose himself to it and then put it away, and then once he's back to 0, he can start using again. But for some reason, he can't stop now.
I think it's about using less and less, not about...
He basically needs to wean himself off of it, kind of like a drug.
I mean, he looks fucked up like a junkie.
Yeah.
It's awfully judgy of you.
I don't like drugs.
I don't like drugs. God, I didn't realize Gene was a square.
Does he also pass out those little pencils?
Hey man,
That eventually
one
just
person in this party
rubs
has
on him?
advocated for 8 hours of sleep a day.
That's true. That's true.
Has not been Paxil.
That wasn't Paxil.
What?
Oh,
Are you guys
I
allergic
missed
to 8
half-
hours?
I'm masked.
Gene's been
I
advocating
missed half
for
of
8.
that sentence.
Gene's been advocating for 8 hours of sleep every day.
Like it's a fucking crime.
I mean, look, the first time you complained about it was just because I had my good pal Grumpf out.
Who's Grump?
Oh,
No,
I don't know if this is a safe place to bring him out. I could.
please
Who's that?
Um,
a noise machine.
Oh, mystical well.
Who is it?
my familiar.
Wait, you
Hi,
have a
Silas, the
familiar?
little girl.
Oh my goodness.
Paxil is flying there with just a look of pure intrigue, ignoring Jean in the corner, going, "No, no, no."
I'll
No,
summon.
I'm over Grump. I'm trying to think about the question and where we go from here.
I'm over Grumph right now.
I'll bring him around when we're not here. He has a tendency to like to eat like books.
Fair enough.
Definitely not.
This is probably not the best place for him.
Yeah,
Looks at all the books.
I think he looks the texture it puts on his teeth.
Oh,
Like he'll just chew them.
Odd choice.
Arcadum?
All right.
Yeah, what's up?
does my coin do anything?
Negative.
Okay, just checking. I didn't know if there's anyone in the building.
Yeah, time to fight the librarian. Let's go, dude.
Look at
I
my
feel like
small.
he's like be the librarian orc from
Choose
the
your
Palace of
weapon.
Wonderhold.
I choose book report. Oh, no.
God, no!
I can't fight in this arena, dude.
Oh, the librarian tells him to write an essay
Yeah.
in his native tongue.
Okay, so I don't know what careful use of the power looks like, but I imagine if it's ripping pieces of him off, it's not what he's doing.
Okay, so there's no
I
question needed there.
genuinely think our next question should be where we can acquire one of these containers that we just found out about.
Yeah.
Well,
But-
I don't think the archive is going to have the information on currently.
I wouldn't be
I think
so
that'd be a
sure.
question for him.
I mean, the archive is where information is, so
Last
Yeah.
known
it doesn't hurt to
location.
look around.
Plus, we can use.
Let's try.
Sure, I'm fine with it. I'd also would like to ask about maybe some of our original idea, like if there's an order, a best order of operations in activating the failsafes, and something relevant to our actual goals here that we're trying to do.
I mean, I asked that earlier and got shot down, so...
I know. I didn't
No,
forget.
I wasn't shooting you down. I was just thinking that it's a little secondary to my main concern, which I guess my main concern should be reducing the loss of life while ending the experiment. Because if we can do what he wants and in the process do it without killing people, that'd be great.
Or even
But I
just
also
do
don't want him to.
regular maintenance on this. Because apparently it hasn't been done for, what, 450 years?
Yeah, like, I mean, the other thing that we have on the table is that we have two potential groups that are possibly nosing around in facilities that we will inevitably have to go to, and they could accidentally activate a failsafe, as I presume one already has. So
Do we want to
perhaps
look up information about them?
I don't know if this facility would have the information on those people, but I can at least reach out to them. Yes, it would be a strange, spooky lady's voice coming from nowhere, telling them, "Hey, don't touch the glowing red button when you see it." But
Considering one of them had their
a-
hair flowing in the breeze before he jumped down the hole, I think a spooky lady's voice in his head is the least of his concerns.
What I think you guys should.
A routine is more of his concern.
I think you guys should put ourselves in their shoes. If somebody spoke into your head and said, "Don't do this one specific thing," which of us would have listened?
I would have
Oh, I
listened.
would have. Yeah, I would have.
Okay, that's two.
I'd probably be looking for the source.
There you go. I'm not gonna count that. Okay, so that's two. That's two.
Where are you going,
But 9
Kaito?
times out of
Why
10,
are you not
if something
answering?
tells you not to do something,
Well-
you should probably listen to it, because the last time something told me to do something, or was telling me anything at all, the proper response was to get the absolute fuck out of the area. And yes, I am talking about the face on the wall at the hag's place.
No idea what we're talking about.
Gramr knows. Gramr knows. That's all. That's what that comment was for. Because we were then chased by,
Yeah.
what was it? A bone shark?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we might be straying off topic here. I don't think what you're suggesting will have the intended results, Anfa. That was what I was trying to say in sort
Well,
of
let me
an
ask you this.
example way.
What is the worst case scenario if we send that message out and tell them to not, and they do it anyway?
Right, it's
Wasting
better that they
time.
know there's a potential danger, and they can try to avoid it rather than them not knowing and accidentally doing it.
Or they might be looking for it, and you just assured them that it exists.
Okay, well, they were going to
It
look
looks
for it
like
regardless.
I think most of the two groups we saw looked like they didn't know where the hell they were.
Well, if it was a fluke that they found it, then shouldn't find one again.
I think it wouldn't hurt to check while we're here. If we find the
Either way.
information, then we have more information. If we don't find the information, we can try something else.
Yeah, I mean, I already reached out, maybe, I don't know. Either way, not to those two groups. Either way, we should still ask and do more research and refocus ourselves. What's our next question?
I like the idea of trying to find the most optimum order to activate the failsafes and contingencies that would result in as little loss of life as possible.
I think if we are going to cure him at least a bit from this madness, we probably should look into these containers.
Well,
What
Okay,
they
so
are and how to get them.
we have our next two questions, and I should ask, do we want to stop ourselves there from putting too much strain on the apprentice? I'm not entirely sure how much strain this is putting on his
It's a
mental...
once we entered, we can ask as many questions as possible, but once we leave, if we re-enter, it'll strain him. So we need to ask as many questions as we can now before we leave.
Agreed.
Alright, if that's how you think it works, Gramr, then...
Oh. I don't see why.
Wow.
That was cold-blooded.
What a fucking
so
mean,
cold-blooded.
What a fucking mean thing to say. Holy shit, dude. Okay.
You could just say you don't like humans.
Okay.
You must be really sorry about your comment earlier then.
Take that shit, Gramr. You're a big special guy and everybody here thinks you're cool.
Okay.
Anfa wishes she was as cool as you, dude. Look at your shield, man.
Well,
She's just a judgy bitch.
did Anfa say something? Did I say something?
You think that's how it works, Gramr.
And the fact that you don't know what you said makes it even better, dude.
Anfa was just trying to... Anfa was just trying to say, oh, if that's how you think it is, sure, man, I'll roll with it. Let's go.
Just put the shovel down. The hole is deep enough.
Anfa just blinks and just kind of goes, right, okay.
Condescending elf.
8 charisma. She doesn't realize that what she said is mean.
I know. It's okay.
I mean.
Okay, so...
Alright, what's your question?
Where can we find or create one of these containers for the violet energy?
I guess colors in general is better.
I mean, we have one specific one that we're trying to deal with,
Yeah,
right?
that's fair.
And it says each of the manifestations requires a similar container,
That's probably the same answer anyway, yeah.
and it depends on the color's domain.
I say, fuck the other apprentices. We only care about ours.
Well, it sounds like
Yeah,
we're probably
I
going to
feel
have
like-
to interact
I feel
with
like
the
our guys
others.
cut a
Well, to
fucking
be
slipping.
fair, if we find out about the other apprentices as well, we can possibly find out how he was before.
He could be one evil son of a bitch. I'm just saying.
I feel like we're not thinking of the scenario where
If there's
the other
anything
apprentice
I've learned since coming into this group, it doesn't hurt to try to talk to them.
Right, but I don't think we're considering the scenario where the other apprentices agree with his actions, and then once they find out, they will support him, making it that much more difficult for us.
I think you
Well,
already made it clear.
To make it clear what his intentions are, we just want to find out more about him from them.
Another thing is, if they're like how he is, even a little bit, having more of them sounds like more difficult than it's like worth.
That sounds like even more reason to figure out where to get those containers. That way we can just get one for each of them.
That sounds like a 93% problem right there.
I don't think contacting the other apprentices is a good idea.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
From his words, it didn't seem like they agreed with his opinions on the
Considering
experiment.
they're still trying to run the experiment, I
Right,
think
I
they
remember.
might see our side more than our compatriot.
I remember that, but what if they just kill him?
I'm not entirely sure they can. Kind of
I'm not
stares
entirely
off into
sure
space back where we came from. because he is the impossible apprentice.
I don't like. I wouldn't imagine that if this tier stranger were to designate people as his apprentices, he would not make one stronger than the other two.
I can 100% see any type of god doing that. Let
Is there
alone
a
someone
god?
who likes to play with things.
I thought he was a Maltosian wizard.
He's closer to a god than most things for Corvinus,
Have we
Okay.
rolled yet?
considering he seems to have created Corvinus.
Oh,
Isn't that-
I followed up the answer. There's no need to roll for that. Here we go. Where can we find and create a container for this violet energy? The violet energy can be transferred to only a container that can contain memories or an incredible presence of death. More specifically, such containers need to also hold the volume of the energy as well as the appropriate type. The more volume, the more extreme the container must be. Memories are contained within several objects of humanity. Containers that hold death in the archives mostly only speaks about one thing that could fit the parameters you have input. Voidka.
Oh, Jesus.
What the fuck?
Vodka?
Voidka.
Do we know what that is in character?
Vodka. We're
Vodka
not
does
talking
the
about
exact-
booze.
I've
Vodka
drank a
does
lot
the
of
exact
vodka.
opposite of contain memories, I'll tell you that much.
I think we should consider the contained memories part, because it sounds like if we go through with what our apprentice wants, we would create a container, that's for sure.
Well, what if we can...
93%.
why don't we ask what if there's anywhere that has containers that we need here on Corvinus, and we can, if it is a location we need to go to anyway.
We can also just look in the tower. Maybe there is some here.
Oh, we can
Memories
go-
are
Whatever it is.
contained within several objects of humanity? That confuses me.
It's referencing sentimentality. Like if you have a
Right.
painting of your family that contains literally your memories.
I see.
That's what that line means.
And then the more extreme, the more voluminous the power, the energy, the more extreme the container has to be.
Yes.
And I'm guessing our apprentice has a lot.
Uh-huh. So we would need something heavily
But Voidka.
sentimentally valuable to him?
No. Yeah.
Well, so there's two routes here you can take. There's two containers that are of the appropriate subtype. There
Right.
are memories, and there is oblivion.
Right.
So, that means you could contain the violet energy in either an object vessel, whatever, that can contain memories, or one that can contain, or Voidka, as is suggested.
Shall we ask what Voidka is?
Do we know that in character or do not? I don't know how.
I do not believe your your group knows what Voidka is.
Yeah, no.
We should
I
probably look
know
into
for
that.
a
And
fact that Paxil does not, because I have never heard Voidka before.
I have. It's dangerous. Above board.
Spoils. Shush.
we should probably
Everything
look
we're
into
dealing with
that.
right now is fucking dangerous. It's
Yeah,
not a
it's true.
spoiler.
Right now, life is danger, so...
Yeah. This is
Voidka.
I feel like oh boy.
Sounds like we need to research vodka. What is
Yeah.
what is it and how to handle it with others? What is vodka? How do we handle it? I don't know.
Where do we find, where can we find
Arcadum,
it?
That's better.
Yeah.
would this be through its
What is
container?
Voidka and where can we find it?
I'm trying to see if basically if this would fall under alchemy by chance. 'Cause this sounds like a sort of magical container.
Sounds closer to what Anfa was referencing earlier.
So the container itself needs to fit the appropriate motif associated with the color of creation.
Yeah.
because violet energy is focused upon memory and oblivion. So, I suppose you could alchemically create something, but the methodology of its creation, because technically you could use alchemy to make paints to make a painting, right? Which could contain a memory, because you paint what you remember, right? Or creativity and things like that. Like, this is a more of an esoteric, aesthetic selection, not so much of a physically replicated sort of thing.
Well, because
yeah.
The biggest reason I'm asking is because I still have all those chemicals that were running that engine that we needed. And so I was thinking of trying to use that to recreate something.
I mean, you could, but you have to know what to make. So it's like...
Yeah, that's what I was getting at towards this void. So this Voidka might be able to help.
So you don't know what Voidka is, but if you could figure out what it was, and if it is possible to recreate it, then you'd know. But you don't know what a Voidka is yet.
Would the party be all right? And obviously it needs your permission. Can Gramr roll alchemy while this question is being asked to kind of use his intellect from that to see if he can do something with this?
I mean, yeah, it's...
Somebody who just wouldn't be supported because I'm one of the people helping. So it'd be...
Yeah, no, I
can help everybody.
Eugene can give you advantage.
Oh, okay.
No, I don't think
then it
needs to be proficient with alchemy, never mind.
So I think this would
technically I could give Gramr advantage because I have Alchemist Kit as well.
Yeah, so it'd fall on Arcadum if I get to roll that or not. This feels leading, I know, but it in my head it's making sense.
Do you want to research Voidka? Is that what I'm getting at?
Yes, but the question really comes down to, do I get to roll my alchemy versus my actual intelligence?
You mean instead of investigation?
Yes.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
I like proposed question.
And I will help Gramr.
Is your proposed question, what is Voidka?
And how do we produce or find it?
If the party agrees, at least.
Yeah.
I like the way you worded it.
That sounds like the proper question.
Yeah, and also we might want to add, like, how do we use it to contain violet energy? Just because we have it.
I mean, we can wing that. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Once again, not a monkey's paw. You can just ask that question next.
Alright.
Yeah, we're learning everything we can while we're here.
Okay, just to be clear, so that we don't have these hangups, there isn't a limited number of questions other than the practical time that we have to run the fucking session. And second, there's no monkey paw. It's not like, we didn't ask this in the right way, so he's not going to tell us. I understand the spirit of your question. The more accurate you are, the better my answer will be, obviously. But, there you go.
Got it.
This part of the test is not asking the right questions in the short amount of time. It's not what it is.
And Paxil, thank you for your help.
Yeah.
Look at the rolls.
I see that.
A 1 and a 20.
Okay, where was I?
Paxil has always seemed to be Gramr's lucky charm, so... Or service dog. It depends on the day.
Hey, I haven't had a freak out yet.
Yet.
I also haven't been hurt, so...
You almost had a freak out when Paxil went down.
Yes. That was an emotional one, not psychological.
I feel like that fucking night you challenge was going to give you a fucking psychological freak out.
What do you think I left?
Push you back through some paces.
You did leave.
What do you think I left?
That was your wisdom surfacing.
My wisdom.
I wonder if you had a chance.
Well, if we're being honest, Gramr wants to go back. He wants to find out.
Well, we have a simulation room.
It's not the same. He needs to be there. It doesn't count. Funny, we have a simulation room. I'm not going to hurt the apprentice to run a test to see if I can whoop this dude's ass.
Apprentice, suspend some of your cognitive resources to let me stretch my ego a little bit.
Turns out I would have bodied him. Fuck!
Let's go back. Let's go.
Guys, we gotta make a trip.
And then you
I
get there
wonder
and
if
just
that
lose.
painting that everyone was fawning over while you were drunk would count as a container for memories.
I feel like it has to be relevant to our apprentice.
According to them, it becomes relevant to whoever's looking at it, so...
Right, but if it's a reliquary for memories, right, but he doesn't know any of the subjects of the painting, it has no memory associated with the painting, I don't know how it's going to help.
We might be able to research his
It
past.
becomes
Yeah.
relevant.
What?
That is a good point, Kaito.
The painting becomes relevant.
Yeah, there's a... Don't worry about that painting, Paxil. It's long gone by now.
It freaked out Caden.
You know what? He does have some sort of national pride for Calcatesh and other, what is it?
Skinwalker.
Skinwalkers, right.
Yeah,
Maybe something like that.
that
Or like
is
a flag
why-
or something.
Without painting.
That is why Darien and I were allowed to stand up at first meet.
So he knows that he has some patriotism.
So we like sing his national anthem? What are you getting at here?
Maybe let him paint his home. Or something like that. Convince him to do that.
Oh yeah, I'll get right on that. I'll totally convince him into it.
Well, I
Or
think
maybe
Gene would have the
stories
best
from
chance.
home?
No.
Or maybe Kaito.
A book?
I've
like
got
a book
it.
from home? A book
Man,
with
I
a
just-
story from home? I don't know.
We're getting too focused on the painting thing. Personally think
wasn't
that
even talking
the
about
memories is going to be the avenue that we can use to help him. It seems, I would presume, that he's far too delved into this violet's power. As such, I believe that whatever Vodka is might be our best bet of helping him.
Well, it couldn't hurt and might help him a bit, you know.
But if we can help him remember who he was before coming into contact with this violet, I feel like that might be significant.
I feel like that circles back around to the other apprentices, because wouldn't they have known him?
Not necessarily. I met you through my work.
Yes, but if they're all working on the same project, and
They're
he's
clearly not
spoken
working
of them
together.
before.
Paxil, let me ask you. After the week that we've known these guys, do you feel like they could bring you back from this type of thing? Just from memory alone?
Oh, honey, I don't even think you could.
Exactly my point.
But that's mostly because I have trust issues.
Yeah,
I
I don't even
understand.
know your
Yeah, you don't think this apprentice has trust issues?
I don't
Point.
think this apprentice is bound to his name to follow whoever tells them to do what.
But we have no
something.
evidence of this, Paxil. We have no proof whatsoever. It's best to try to trigger a memory versus trying to recreate one.
Or in this regard, even making new memories.
I just had this horrible image flash through my mind where I try to ask him about his past or who he used to be, and he says, irrelevant, and then I get vaporized.
I just feel like you guys are not understanding what I'm saying.
What are you trying to say?
I thought I was being pretty upfront about it.
You want to get the other apprentices in here and have them talk him down?
If we can just talk to them, we can possibly find out more about him in the past.
I got the info for you. Whenever you're ready.
Keep going, Paxil.
From there, we could possibly trigger memories from their memories of him.
Right.
They might only know him as he was now.
Yes. I don't feel like contacting them is worth risking the potentiality that they might have known who he used to be before coming into contact with Tyr. I think it's too big of a risk for
I wasn't
too little gain.
necessarily saying before he came in contact with Tyr, but if they if they've met, they have memories of him before he was
Right.
fading away from the violet.
But that also assumes that they'd be willing to reverse what has happened to him, and that's not a guarantee.
Why are you so upfront about everything?
Up front? Because I don't see the need to beat around the bush.
Asking them, hey, what did the Impossible Apprentice used to be like?
Should I
Do you have any
post
memories
this
of
info
him?
or
Doesn't. Sorry.
should I post this info?
Yeah.
What is
Well,
Vodka?
they could just kill you.
What is Vodka,
Yeah.
and how do we produce or find it? Vodka is a mysterious substance that even after centuries of study by the scholars of Maltos, its true properties yet elude them. Some things have been discovered. Vodka is an incredibly powerful source of raw magic. It can be used in a variety of applications, both fantastical and practical. It is so potent in its magical potency that it exudes an aura of this magic, increasing in size and potency dependent on purity and size of crystal. This magic exudation is so concentrated it can cause sickness in the mundane and burnout in the magically aligned. This can occur even when standing near it, and oftentimes its aura is visible as a pseudo-black fog that lingers within the air. Vodka is mostly found in the astral sea, naturally occurring in random points of erratic and engineered convergence. There are Vodka deposits on Corvinus, allocated to the facilities assigned to the classified projects. It can also be found in the vessels that first carried over the personnel from Maltos.
Vessels? Like how they got
Maltos. What's
like
a
how they got to
Maltos?
Corvinus from Maltos.
It's a place, remember?
Okay, so their ship.
Looks like we're going after that other ship after all.
I thought that was
that was from Calcutes.
Okay,
We're looking from Motes. Maltos?
Maltos? What is... Did we go over what Maltos is?
Yeah.
you know it's the place this tear is from.
Oh, right. Yeah. Okay, right. So, what is this... Can we gain access to these classified projects?
Wait,
Are they just the...
Isn't this a vessel, in a way, in this tower?
I think so. I feel like we know that.
Isn't
sounds
that what
familiar.
they designated it?
Maybe we should search the tower.
Yeah,
Well,
seating vessel. Wayward. This is the Wayward Tower.
So
That's
it could be
right.
Vodka within the tower.
Yeah.
Yes.
Facilities assigned to the classified projects. What?
Well, this vodka can also cause sickness to, mundane and burnout to magically aligned, so...
We
In case
So
the kids are wondering, burnout means that mage or caster loses their magic forever.
Hmm.
Burnout bad.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, we don't want to mess around with that. Perhaps if we could... Oh.
That's dangerous.
Mhm.
Oh, that's how it works.
If we tried to force his violet into this stuff, it could wind up negatively affecting him just as a person.
Yeah, it could strip him of his magics.
It could kill him.
Yeah.
Because if it takes his magic and gets rid of it, and then it makes mundane people sick.
Well, we could use a small crystal. Maybe.
But it says that earlier it said that the amount of power, the more extreme the container has to be.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
He does not have a small amount of power.
Well, we might not have to remove everything. We could just remove some. Maybe. I don't
Could
know.
we even handle this vodka?
I don't. This stuff seems way too dangerous, guys.
If it is here, there's likely equipment to handle it.
They spent centuries studying this stuff. I imagine that they had methods of how to manipulate it.
I might be able to come up with something to be able to manipulate it.
Oof.
Balance it on your shield and see what happens.
I feel like
We
this
want
is
to use
the-
it, not break it.
Let's just research how they handle this
I'm
stuff.
just saying, anti-magic shield. Hold the magic thing that we definitely do not want to touch.
It seems to be anti-magical in itself. The
I mean-
exudes concentrated.
I would have chosen the word soul sucking, but
I mean, this stuff has an aura to it. It's just you don't just testing it. You don't even need to do that for it to affect you.
Yeah, that black fog.
that's why I was recommending it be put on the magic cancellation shield.
I mean, just as standing near it. If this stuff is powerful enough to rip the color out of him, I think it might be more powerful than Gramr's shield that he made.
You got any better ideas?
Not this stuff.
They had it handled it somehow before. There must be notes here about it.
Yeah.
Probably also has a container here.
I must go pee-pee. I'll be right back.
I feel like this stuff has too much risk involved with it. Because if it doesn't kill us, it might still kill him.
Yeah, and then we have to convince him to actually put at least try to attempt it using this.
Yeah, but there's no way we could force this decision upon him anyway. I feel like trying to appeal to his better nature using memories is a less dangerous way of going about this. It might not be as effective. Might not be as like brute force, I should say. But it's kinder, I guess, is the word that I would choose.
Yeah, I say we try to find, look up his past. Try to find.
I don't see how that.
Finding out more about his culture, maybe, and maybe that would lead him to
write
him.
a biography on him. Read it to him.
Reminding him of who he used to be seems like a good idea.
Yeah.
Because I feel like he might have lost
I
sight of
think we
that.
should at least locate a crystal, or one of these vodka crystal things, because it's that way. If we need it, we have a backup. I'm all for going for memories first.
It's not a bad
having
idea.
a backup is not a bad idea.
It's not a bad idea. It is a grim reality that the primary plan will not always succeed.
Yeah.
Yes, and with very limited access to anything that might... With very limited access to things that might actually know who he used to be. Gives us less avenues to actually help him memory-wise.
We could potentially go to the divining chamber to learn more about his past.
And what?
I know it feels a little bit less, I don't know, it feels like there's more risk that way. Because I feel like a creature as powerful as him, if he did not want something found out about his past, he could hide it. But I don't imagine...
Well,
That's kind of why I suggested what I did earlier.
I feel like that's too risky to involve the other apprentices.
They could just teleport us and then kill us.
Do you have better options?
Plus, I mean, listen. It was told that everything, including their names, was pretty much taken from them when they chose to become an apprentice. We could presume that whatever life he had before this, either he did not care for or he does not remember.
The names of the apprentices...
Or he puts duty above all else.
The names of the apprentices are among the first things given to Tyr in exchange for their servitude. So yeah, they gave their names to him. And they are now just referred to as the impossible apprentices, I see.
Mhm.
I'm just
So-
saying, seeing yourself from someone else's eyes can help in remembering who you are. So if we knew how he was seen by others before he was so wrought with madness, we might be able to appeal to why he became an apprentice in the first place. He feels like the type who is very duty bound.
I feel like we should try to learn more about
I'm back.
his people or his past here. But I was still going to stand by that I think reaching out to the other apprentices is a bad idea. Because what if they're just like how he is?
Plus, he
There's
might
only
have.
really one way to find out, to be fair.
Or we could not risk finding out at all and try to sort it out without them.
And so
And I
you
think-
think we should just kill 93% of the Corvanis?
What?
And just
How are we
chill?
jumping to that conclusion?
Because without anything to contain his magic and bring him back, that's what our MO is basically doing.
What?
That is like nowhere near what I was saying at all. In fact, I'm putting an egregious amount of effort into saving as many lives as possible, if you can imagine it. I'm just saying that involving the other apprentices in our effort to remind him of who he used to be would be too risky for too little gain. Because like the best case scenario is like, yeah, they knew him before he became mad, and then they can help us remind him of who he used to be, which would be great. But on the flip side of that, the worst case scenario is that we find them, they like how he is, and in fact they think he should be more like that, and they push him even further into madness. And then they just kill us for
Why do they
bothering
need
them.
to know the state of his mind right now?
I don't
Okay,
get
go-
why
go.
we're arguing about this, because we still haven't asked one of the most important questions that we've talked about and no one's asked it. What is the most efficient way to complete each task to avoid loss of life in Corvanis? None of us have researched it yet.
Right.
So if that is your main focus, Paxil, that's the next thing we need to research.
I agree that is the goal, and I was going to try to go about it by curing his madness. But if we can achieve his goal of ending the experiment without losing life, that's good too.
Well, the reason out of character, the reason I'm asking the question this way is what is the most efficient way to complete each task to avoid loss of life in Corvanis? That question that you just asked may pop up in this, because I didn't ask which way is it to complete the task individual. I'm asking more broad, because it might be to cure him on top of it.
That
So you
sounds
said
good to me.
tasks, are you talking about the contingencies and fail-safes?
Yep. Contingencies, fail-safes, and anything
Yep.
that might make that more efficient for us. So our research will be focused in on what can make that more efficient.
Yeah. Do you want investigation checks, Arcadum?
Well, I need a typed question. Is that the
I
one
already
we're
did
going
it.
with?
It's already on there.
Okay.
Yep,
Then
already
go,
did it.
Go ahead and do investigation then.
Can we do two different questions at the same time, or?
What?
Because Darien would not care about this question, so I'm just asking if we can do two different questions.
I mean, I can't do two questions at the same time, Nobb. I am a human being and am not capable of doing that.
Darien doesn't care if he knocks out 93%. That is wild information to get.
It is true.
Wow. I guess we all don't care.
I see that it's true.
It's crazy.
Look, while we're investigating this, look, very well might be that
Are those the rolls?
impossible.
Yeah,
Hmm?
Okay,
12, 11?
Yeah.
do we want this to go through?
Okay.
Period.
Any rerolls? I believe there's one
Do
on.
we want this to
Kaito?
go through?
Using the
Paxil-
Gambler Black die is not the move here.
I am
No.
not talking about the gambler die. Do we want this to go through?
If you got something you can do it, because this is a good time for it.
I'm using my birthday 20.
When
I'll
was
use
your
it on
birthday?
Nobb since my birthday was November 12th.
I'm gonna go take this.
It was
November?
that's
Ooh.
2 months ago. And didn't you use that on the con save when you kissed Kaito?
Oh yeah, you did.
That was that was one that was last year's birthday 20 that you said I could have because I asked about it.
What? you only have one birthday
Because
a year.
we were on hiatus whenever my birthday happened, and then it just became official that Rise of the Risen was basically done. And
Yeah.
whenever I asked if I could have it, back when I was still Sparrow, you said yes. Because we had been on hiatus whenever I had my birthday.
Yeah, but you don't bank them like that. Like, no. You don't bank them like that. No.
I just recently had another birthday.
2 months ago.
Yeah, it's 2 months ago. That's the
Look,
thing. You
we've
can't
played
bank
them.
them. You can't hold on to them until you want to use them over multiple months.
Okay.
And we've had several sessions since your birthday.
Yeah, and I tried to use it a lot earlier too.
I
Now
I don't know. I don't
use it.
What?
You are in charge of when you can use it. Just like as soon as your birthday is like as
December
possible.
11th, during the Christmas thing, I asked if I could use it.
That's because
And I was
that's
told
not
no.
that's a non-canonical event. That doesn't, even if I let you use it then, that would be a horrendous waste. Like what? I'm sorry. No. No. I can't let that one go. That is ridiculous. First of all, I let you carry that over because the game went on hiatus in IRL, and that's fine. Second, you had a birthday 2 months ago. You can't hold on to it and then spend it at some other time. And then trying to make the argument is like, well, I tried to use it during the Friday event, the Christmas event, and then I was told no. I don't see how that's relevant to me telling you can't use it now. Like, we've had sessions since then. No, that's not how it works.
Yeah. I'm spending my inspiration from this recap. We wrote Darien.
That'll work. I'm sorry. I'm not gonna give you a resource like that. If the birthday 20 is a gift that you are meant to use, not hold on to for like an entire year. That's not what it's supposed to be meant to do. Or
You were on
multiple months.
vacation whenever I got it.
But we've
Yes.
played this vacation.
Yeah, we've played since then. Like, I don't see, like, what part of this aren't you understanding? Like, I'm not trying to be mean or anything. I'm trying to really understand where your confusion is. You had a birthday, so that means it carries over to the next session that we play. That's the session you get to use your birthday 20 on. You don't get to bank it until sometime when it matters more to use. That's not how it works. So, do you understand now? You had a birthday, we had a session, you didn't use it, you had another session, didn't use it. And you asked to use it during a non-canonical event, which also is not available, because it also doesn't matter.
Okay.
Okay. Anyway, what'd you roll? 7?
Yeah.
Alright, typing up your answer.
12.
Okay. What is the most efficient way to complete each task to avoid.
While that's happening,
Loss.
doing research.
Loss
Say,
of
Kaito.
life.
Wanna help me look through this bookshelf over here?
Alright.
Goes off to talk in private. Are you doing alright? That confrontation with Darien was intense.
I'm fine.
Are you?
We got bigger stuff to worry about. You believe Kaito is lying, but not to you.
Lie to yourself is wrong. If you're not okay, you can say it. There's no harm. We all have moments of weakness or uncertainty.
Just moments.
Sometimes moments stretch into days, months, centuries.
How many times have you I felt more than just a few moments. Nearly every single fight I've gone down.
And yet you stood back up each time, right? You survived. Sure, there was that one time where you did pass, but it was only for a moment. We brought you back.
And the first thing I saw was my brother bleeding out on the ground. I'm supposed to be strong.
Yes. And there is strength in showing one's fragility. To reach out for help. Even if it's just a moment of silence to be shared and never spoken of. You need not burden yourself alone. I think that's something Sparrow sort of helped me with.
See, talk to me before she left, you know?
Yeah?
I had a chance to convince her not to go. But she still did. I want to...
You feel
Do you know how
responsible.
many have died under my care?
I feel just as responsible. And I know your pain, though, from a different end. I lived in a moment when my own family needed me, because I felt inadequate. Perhaps she felt as though she couldn't keep up with us, Or perhaps she just thought that our paths were reaching a fork upon which she could not travel with us any further. Whatever it is, we cannot shoulder that guilt. Because at the end of the day, she lived as she wanted to. To force someone to commit to something against their own free will would make us no better than, well, whoever this dear fellow is. To create an experiment of force people to exist in something that isn't even real. You know, when I was considering walking away, I was going to offer to you to come with me.
And leave my family behind. A second time.
To try and help them from a different angle. Because I care about you. And I didn't want to see you be torn down by this. Because I lacked the faith that I could be able to maintain who I am on the shoulders of great responsibility. But I know who I am. I know what I want to do. It's just a matter of keeping it all together, not losing sight of it.
All right, I got an answer to your question.
Go ahead.
So this one's a little bit more difficult because it's very broad, but this is the archive's answer. What is the most efficient way to complete each task to avoid loss of life in Corvinus? The duties of an apprentice can cause an incredible amount of collateral damage. The archives indicate that the loss of this collateral life is within operational parameters. The subject of efficiency is more focused on the replenishment of expendable resources more than the preservation of those said resources. It would seem that the archives reveal that the highest recorded/suggested containment rate is to allow the completion of the experiment and the classified projects. There are also mentions of a replaceable substitute for this expendable resource, but it was judged too dangerous to allow fruition. To clarify what I mean by that, when you ask the archives what is the most efficient task to avoid the loss of life in Corvinus, the efficiency modules dictate that the loss of that amount of life is actually within the parameters, within the operational parameters, because the devices in play are meant to replenish that expended resource at a rate that far exceeds its loss. So losing 93% of the population is horrifying, but to the operational procedure, it's actually intended because it will replenish that supply more quickly than the loss that it had. So the indiction by that is that the design of the we'll call it the device, but it's not a device. I'm just meaning that for what's happening on Corvinus. The design, we'll call it the experiment. I think that's easier. The design of the experiment is not to preserve the life that it has. It's actually designed to quickly rotate through, we'll call it batches of life.
I see. And in this cycle, 93% is acceptable.
Yeah, the 93%. Well, the 93% is a hard reset, is what it's presented as. So, the intention is that once that reset occurs, then the experiment can begin anew. To once again reiterate, the big problem here is that you want to turn this off. You want to stop this from happening, right? Because if the experiment continues, it'll kill all these people and then start all over again, which it has been slowly doing over the course of its experimentation. There's also records here. I have elves in the party, right?
Yep.
Okay, cool. Or I should say Corvanian elves.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, let's see here. So as you kind of read through it, it becomes apparent that as you review the archives, that each major war on Corvanus is recorded as a manifestation of these parameters. Most notably, the war that coincides with the rise of Mytheria is one such attempt at this experiment. How can I put this another way? Since you have an alchemist in the party, it would explain that there are different subgroups of which there are different groups that act as the control group, and then there are other groups in which these wars or events or disasters or insert thing that kills people here that are rotated through in order to entice the greatest reaction of faith to be generated for the required proponent parts of the greater experiment. So, it is actually against the nature of the experiment to preserve, quotations, the current expendable resource of human life. It is actually more efficient for it simply to replace it.
So, basically, kind of, at least this is what Anfa is kind of taking it as, is basically every war has been kind of this almost purposefully intended sort of culling.
Well, it is not clear as to whether or not the intention of that war to be a culling is a direct one-for-one button press of the experiment, but it is definitely annotated as if it is intended for these things to go to war with each other. When by things I mean people.
Yeah, like
and the methodology that they use also to be intended.
Yeah, like it's basically like it creates scenarios in which a war is inevitable.
That's actually a great way of putting it. That's what the experiment, what the apprentices, as depicted through the archives here, their purpose on behalf of Tyr is to enact this experiment and to reap the resource of faith.
So what the impossible apprentice is essentially wanting to do is essentially stop war? To put it in the most simplest of terms?
Yes. But his current route in which to do that is to reset it.
Mm-hmm.
And as you have just learned, resetting the experiment kills 93% of the population.
Okay.
Which you are not okay with, I presume?
We're all, for the most part,
Looks at
not
Gramr.
okay with.
You're not okay with that?
Darien's okay.
Maybe Darien doesn't care, but I'm just saying.
As long as I'm not part of it, you know.
Oh, as long as you're in that 7%. Oh, I see.
Listen, statistically, it's more likely than you think,
So
Nobb.
here's where the whole madness thing comes in, right? Is that what you're kind of seeing unveil before you is that the apprentice, there has to be a reason why he's trying to stop it. His reasoning isn't very clear, because according to the archive, he's operating like he should be. But you also remember, when discussing it, that he seems to be against what he is doing.
I mean,
he's fighting himself.
He's fighting himself. So, this I'll give you a free callback. One of the things I mentioned in the archival answers is that one of the first things given by the apprentices to become apprentices to Tyr is to give up their names and their themselves, which is what the representation of name is. But there are those that have found ways to supplement that, like to bypass that. And it would seem that perhaps this is that literal phenomenon occurring. One could even stipulate that the madness that is currently afflicting the Impossible Apprentice is those pieces of himself warring with each other. And your influence is important because everything that you do has had an impact on him in just the short amount of time that you've been around him. Yeah, you're the ones that tip the scale of which of the many himselves wins in that regard. And this next part is important for Paxil, because now you may make a history check. I'll also give you advantage on it, on the different madnesses that you are aware of.
Is it history?
It is history, yeah.
Normal
best
roll or
subject.
advantage?
It is advantage.
Okay, cool, because this isn't gonna be great.
Do we have anything to
Inspire
help
that.
that?
Inspiration, this is a good time for.
Can I inspire this roll?
You can inspire that roll, yeah.
Okay. Let me see. I can only add 8.
I'm
to
using
that.
player inspiration first, at least.
Oh,
sure.
player inspiration first? Got it. Go ahead.
I
It's better than
don't
a
have
7.
player inspiration.
Oh, am I re-rolling?
Yeah, roll once. One time, though, this time.
Okay.
Better than a 7.
18 will work.
Ooh,
Better than a 7.
That's a
Then you
19
can
on
inspire
the
plus
die.
8?
Hey, if we want to inspire that and make it better.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just to make sure.
The more
26.
madnesses I know, the better off we are.
Okay, so with that, Paxil, this is what you know. Creatures of the Fae oftentimes fall within two twin split personalities of themselves. Almost all Fae creatures go through this phenomenon. It is known as the Seelie and the Unseelie. The autumn and summer solstice. The switch from the seasons of plenty to the seasons of famine, and so on and so forth. There's many different representations of it in the different courts, such as the court of summer and winter and spring and autumn. It would seem that although you doubt that the Impossible Apprentice is a Fey creature, his madness seems to reflect to a certain degree the sort of essence of that madness. It's called the dance of the mirror in Fey terms. It is the reflection that you see on the other end, the two opposing reflections, is essentially what you are seeing kind of flashed across the apprentice's face when he talks to you. Generally speaking, Fey creatures, because they're born with this, it's a part of themselves. So they tend not to suffer because of it, because madness isn't a negative thing to your people. But to someone like this, the first thing that you need to do, probably the most important thing that you need to do, in order to get him to stabilize so that you can maybe properly find out how to deal with the actual purpose that he has, whichever purpose it might be, and to find out in all these different facets which one is the true him, is you must discover his name, because that is also something that carries true potency in the Feywild. Learning something's true name means you have power over it. Or in this case...
Which is what I mentioned earlier.
Or in this case, to give power back to that person.
Okay. So we need to find his name.
Okay, so let's ask him.
He won't remember it. He gave it up when he became an apprentice. We need
There must
to
be a
find his
catalog
name.
then. Like a repository. Right?
I feel like if someone would have access to who the apprentices of Tyr were before they gave up who they used to be, it would be Tyr.
Yes, but Tyr hasn't made an appearance in a while.
According to the chorus, he's dead.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if names give people power over the wielder, he must have kept it somewhere.
If he's been fighting back against himself, or what he was supposed to be, it would make sense that holding on to his name would be the strongest way to do that. So either he or Tyr knows his name. Maybe if he was actually fighting back against this hard enough.
What was the name of the thing? What was the mirror thing?
The Dance of the Mirror?
Yeah.
If I were in his shoes, and I did not want to lose myself, I would leave some kind of clue for people who could save me. Maybe he left something somewhere nearby to who he used to be. But if you know you can't save yourself, you would set up someone else to help save you.
Yes.
That's what I would do anyway.
Either way, we do still have a number of issues on hand.
I hate doing research like this because I always walk away with more questions.
That's the temptation of knowledge, isn't it? The more you
Temptation?
know, the more you realize the little you know.
I would say more like abrasive sandpaper against my ass cheeks.
Okay. Thanks,
Gene.
that was.
I wanted
that
to
was a
think
good
about
one.
your ass Arcadum.
I'm a wordsmith, you see.
Smith this.
This is just rather strange because this is a phenomenon all its own. To help him figure out who he truly is, and for us to know who he truly is, we have to find his name.
Yep.
But the only person who necessarily would have that are either people from his past, which are likely in Calcatesh, or
Tyr,
who hasn't made an appearance in years.
Okay, so
And
let's
is
piece
presumably
together what we do know about our apprentice. He's from Calcatesh. He's a skinwalker and a Saurian. I think that's what it was, right? Saurian? Arcadum?
Saurian, yeah. That's his race.
Yeah. He's a Saurian. That's not nothing to go off of. We could potentially find more about the culture that he came from.
Or maybe records of travel to this area in these archives.
Someone this powerful,
if
gotta be someone of legend.
Hold on, wait. If Tyr's dead,
most likely, but
do you think? Do you think
Paxil
his
puts
soul?
it in air quotes.
Right. Okay. We could verify if he's dead or not, right?
Not necessarily.
Well, maybe.
Where were you going?
Well, I could. The dream's a place where souls go to.
No.
Where you're going
I knew you were going there.
Dream.
I knew you were going there.
I'm just.
Where you go is not the dream. From what you described, that is not the dream.
I have a ability. I don't want to call it a gift. Doesn't feel like one, but it's a means to maybe get more answers.
The dream is a place in between. Wherever that is, it's not the dream.
I would like to point out here that you're looking for the guy who did that to our apprentice. And he considers it a good thing to have done.
Perhaps.
Why would he want to reverse that?
This is a Fae kind of magic. Or madness, I should say.
Darien, would then perhaps maybe... Alpha looks a little nervous even at wanting to ask this. The Lords of the Dream have potential to help us?
I don't know, and I don't care.
Yeah,
I don't want to mess with them,
agreed.
and I don't recommend you do.
I think getting a god or two to solve our problems is not the way to go about doing this.
Not to solve. No. I'm not looking for them to solve. I'm looking for them to guide. That's what you have to do with the spirits. I assume it's the same way with a god. You don't ask them to just fix your problem. You ask them for guidance, a piece of wisdom, or a simple direction to travel in. I presume that's how the spirits work in your home, Kaito?
I'm not religious enough to comment on this plan, but I know that it involves you going back to the place that almost got you what I would consider to be lobotomized.
Do you break into people's houses to ask for directions?
That's a good way to put it. I'd shoot you in the face with a crossbow.
Oh, fuck.
I can't believe that is the most succinct way I have heard somebody ever put "Don't go to the dream" for
That's
question.
so good. That's...
No, but I can knock on their door and wait for them to answer, right?
That's a keeper right there. Putting that one in my pocket. Okay, please continue.
I'm just very
It
confused.
felt like some shit
why-
Wade would say. I came here for guidance. You break into
Can
someone's
you help?
house.
Can you help me with my problem? Get out of my house.
I'm just very confused on why we think a dream can do anything.
It's way more complicated and not worth explaining. It is a bad idea is all you need to know about it.
Okay. So then she shouldn't do it.
Agreed. Never mind that I'm saying that I agree because I told you that's what you should think, but agreed.
You couldn't tell me what to think.
I really don't think she should go somewhere she thinks is the dream and isn't. She
I
doesn't know
fully
where
believe
she's
that she
going.
went to the dream, and I fully believe that it is a bad place.
I've been there and I don't agree.
Okay, alright.
But I
Well,
also
either
do
way,
not want to return.
are we done here?
No, so many more questions.
And we don't have all the time in the world.
Yeah, we need to get moving.
I think we have until
We
he
should-
tells us our
We
next
need
mission.
to rest. We've been here for several hours
Hours?
at least. Yeah, I'm sure of how long we've actually been here. I've been kind of lost in it all.
I'm fine.
I still want to search if there's any records of his past here. There's got to be something.
It won't
That
hurt
would
to
be a
look. I don't
start.
think. I hope. I hope it won't hurt to look.
Alright, one more check to see if we can find anything about him, and then I'm going to bed.
Maybe we can look for if there's a somewhere that's any of that information was stored, because more than likely this facility will not have the records we seek, but maybe if we can find the location of such records. But however you want to word it, Kaito.
Kaito's looking
Oh.
for the records.
Okay. Yeah, add a question mark to your sentence there, sweetie.
Currently, it's a statement.
Do you want to
Very-
put me? I was about to treat this like it was a fucking monkey's paw question, but he knows we're talking about the current Impossible and Princess.
I can't stress enough. This is not
We
a monkey's
don't
paw.
trust you. We do not trust you.
I was really about to you should put current in front of that so he knows that we're talking about. But then you fucking know.
Listen, okay, we're too used to you giving us things that are monkey paw questions, and
I'm
We're too used
we're,
to
we're,
dying
we're
because
uncomfortable
we
with it
didn't-
just being direct.
We are too used to dying
What
because
is this?
we weren't specific enough.
What is this whole system of asked and answered questions? What the hell? Where's the game?
this?
Where's the trick?
That's some. It's just a sword. It's cursed.
We're so used to dying because we weren't
conditioned me.
specific enough.
This also lets you know, Arcadum, that you might as well just design everything to be a monkey's paw, because we're not going to trust you regardless.
But it's not. It's.
I'm just saying you might as well. Fuck
Here,
us.
you find a health potion. Is it poisoned?
There's literally an item called a potion of poison that looks exactly
Well,
like
to
a
be
health
fair,
potion.
that last purging potion that I drank had a shit ton of silver salt in it.
Oh my goodness.
Well,
That tracking
Right.
bullshit.
Anyway, yeah, that's the question.
This is I'm honestly, if I could spend a whole nother session in the archive learning more shit, I would.
Yeah, 100%.
I'm pretty sure all of us would.
But we need to play the
I don't think Arcadum's good with that idea.
No, I don't mind that. I just. Let's see here.
Because I also feel like this was a very roleplay heavy session too.
This one is.
Anfa finally got her apology out.
Archives show broken pieces of information.
And then immediately bitch slapped Gramr with her charisma.
I feel like if there was going to be where Arcadum was like, none of these are monkey paw questions, and then we asked the one question where he's like, well, I gotta punish you for asking that, it'd be something like this.
Too generalized. It gives you all the histories of all the apprentices except the one we wanted.
I was thinking something more along the lines of like, the apprentice feels you ask this question and comes in, bitch slaps you, some shit like that.
You specifically, Gene.
Yeah, I'm very pessimistic.
He kills Calabrazix.
That would not be negative to me.
Okay.
That squid face freaks me out. And has proven less than useful.
I have not seen Calabrazix for shit the entire time.
The archives show broken pieces of information. Some references are made to the Zari jungle and to the Kaoan people. It seems that his personal effects are marked to be within this facility. Somewhere.
Oh.
So he's Kaoan.
At the airship that he sent us to.
And his stuff is possibly in this building.
Huh.
And with that mysterious message, that's where I'll call the session right there.
Woo!
Lovely. Lovely.
Good sesh. Snap.
Looks like we gotta explore the tower some more.
Let's figure that out.
Do you break into their house to ask directions? Best line.
That was incredible.
Yeah.
Do you break into someone's house to ask directions? Hey, could you show me how to get out of here?
I have a
Violet Viper vodka. Holy shit.
What?
It's the fan art.
fan art.
Ah. And we
Triple
didn't see
distilled.
Gramr yet.
Alright, anyway. Good stuff, guys.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta go get ready for my next game. Silver Star.
We got a lot to figure out.
Bye, everybody. Thanks for watching.
Bye-bye.
Bye.